It's time again for another installment of The Basics, and on today's show I'm responding to a request from one of my viewers who wants to see the cards in my Federation deck, to basically see what it is comprised of. So I'm going to take you through the three stages of this deck, being the seed phase, the draw deck, and the side deck, to show you what's in my awesome Federation deck. So let's get started, shall we? Now, to keep this episode from getting too long, I'm going to go through each phase of the deck, but I'm not going to go into huge explanations as to why I chose these cards. If you'd like to know that, add comments in the comment section. I will respond to them and explain there. So, starting with the seed deck. One Federation outpost. First mission is Reunion. Second mission is First Contact, a 30-point mission. Repair mission worth 35 points. I will say Engineer ×3 plus Computer Skill. A lot of these missions are tailored to the personnel in my deck. Diplomacy mission on Peliar Zell worth 30 points. Explore Dyson Sphere worth 35 points. Investigate Anomaly worth 30 points. Pegasus Search, worth 50 points. This is a big one. And you would think, being a Federation deck, treachery might be an issue. Oh no, not at all. As for dilemmas, I have None Shall Pass, Security Precautions, REM Fatigue Hallucinations with the 5 bonus points, Male's Love Interest, Nausicaans, Primitive Culture, Harvester Virus, Cardassian Trap, Balancing Act, Punishment Zone, -5 points, oh yes. Hull Breach, Surprise Assault, In the Pale Moonlight. This one is exceptionally good in most cases. Microbiotic Colony. Now, a lot of people are going to say this is wimpy, but believe it or not, it actually works depending on the affiliation you're playing against. Scientific Method. Birth of Junior. Emergency Conversion. Poor Scotty. Menthar Booby Trap. Another one that people think is wimpy, but again, depending on who you're playing, it does work. Navigational Hazards. Ancient Computer. Whoops. Grabbed 2 cards there. As an artifact, I'm seeding Tox Utot. Now, this deck can be played in a tournament if I take that card and the Supernova out, but because it's mainly house rules, I do have a couple banned cards in here. The other artifact I would seed would be Iconian Gateway. This comes in very useful. As far as doorways, Alternate Universe Door, I may or may not have more than 1 copy depending on my mindset. Space-Time Portal, and Q-Flash. Now, I usually have more than 1 Q-Flash. Obviously, I just have 1 in here for show. I didn't want the video to run too long. In terms of the draw deck now, this is where it gets interesting, because I have a lot of good personnel. So, I have another Federation outpost that I would usually build at a later time. USS Enterprise D, Galaxy-class starship. USS Defiant, mainly because it has a cloaking device, comes in handy, and the weapons are 10. USS Enterprise E, probably one of my favorite cards in the game, especially with my Federation deck. Jean-Luc Picard from First Contact. Beverly Crusher from First Contact. Data from First Contact. An Exocomp. Spock Admiral Hayes. Deanna Troi from First Contact. Geordie LaForge for First Contact. William T. Riker from First Contact. Hawk. Another Exo Comp. And yes, even though they're from the original set, Exo Comps are still extremely useful in this game. Admiral McCoy. Leitner. Now, in case anyone wonders about Leitner, because I can download a Type 3 phaser rifle immediately, that comes in very handy. Worf, just because. Montgomery Scott, for obvious reasons. Thomas Riker, very good attributes. Tasha Yar. Mordock. Rager. Now I'm getting into my power cards now. Kevin Uxbridge. Remodulation. Asteroid Sanctuary. Amanda Rogers. Now these are all sorted by type at the moment because obviously I rebuilt the deck and I have not played, so I have not shuffled. Kevin Uxbridge Convergence. Q2, very handy card. Kevin Uxbridge Normal. Yes, I love Kevin Uxbridge in every form and shape. Auto Destruct. Getting into equipment. Type 3 phaser rifle. Type 3 phaser rifle. Engineering pad, very handy. Engineering kit. Starfleet Type 2 phaser. Starfleet Type 2 phaser. Red Alert for obvious reasons. QNet because I like screwing with people once in a while. Plasma Fire, believe it or not, still useful. Nutational Shields, if you're running a Federation deck, you must have. Space Dock. Captain's Log, you definitely need that. The Big Picture. Another Captain's Log, yes, I have multiple. Computer Crash, a very useful card in this deck. A second Red Alert for obvious reasons. A second QNet because I want people to hate me. Yellow Alert, obvious reasons. Nutational Shields, gotta have. Quantum Slipstream Drive. And finally, Anti-Time Anomaly. Now, a lot of you are going to say that's a lot of power cards and not all of them are duplicated, but there's methods to my madness, and this deck has been reformatted many, many times over the years, and it works. Finally, my Q's Tent side deck. USS Odyssey as a spare ship. Countermanda, you gotta have Countermanda. Supernova, this goes with the Toxutot artifact that I've seeded. Kevin Uxbridge Convergence, again, you can never have too many of those. Admiral Riker as a backup personnel because look at everything he has in his attributes. Awesome character. And another rescue. Temporal Rift. A runabout. Engage shuttle operations, specifically for that runabout. The Piece de la Resistance, Captain Kirk. Self-explanatory, one of the best personnel cards, in my opinion, in the game. Another Captain's Log. And finally the Q's Tent itself. That is my Federation deck and its composition. Now, every time I've used this deck and played against other people, I have been both praised and criticized for this deck. Praised in the fact that it's a very well-rounded deck. Missions are tailored to personnel, the ships are powerful and do a decent job. I have enhancements, and I have enough power cards to negate a lot of what my opponents might do, and in case I run into trouble, hence also the side deck. Criticized mainly because I don't have enough copies of one card, or maybe 3 or 4 of another. But as I've said earlier in the episode, I've tailored these cards to this deck as I've rebuilt it every time. This is one of those decks where I tweak it after every game regardless of victory or loss. I'll swap out as many as 8 or 9 cards in a shot and then play again and see what happens. So there you have it. If this helps you, great. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below and I will respond to you. Have a great day, everybody.